Let us wrap him in the linen cloth, and then we will pray.
Before long, we arrived at John and his mother Salome's home. I remembered very little of the rest of that day. I do remember Mary of Magdalene's embrace before I left the cross. She wouldn't leave him. She couldn't leave him. After all he had done for her, she loved him so much, in life and in death.
Dear Mary, rest here while John prepares your room.
Thank you for welcoming me, Salome. Even in death, my son provided for me. He was a great son, so much more than I could have ever asked for. He was our promised Messiah. I know it. At least, I thought I did. But how could this horrible end be what his father had in mind? How could the God of our fathers let the Messiah die? I just don't understand.
Such questions are impossible for us to answer, my dear. We must trust in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He will right all wrongs.
There, in Salome's tight embrace, tears gushed from me like a cascading waterfall, propelled by a mighty current in its full force. The high feast days were upon us, with unleavened bread set to begin in just a couple of hours. John made sure I was as comfortable as possible in the Jerusalem home where we stayed for the festival. Salome kept a close eye on me, even though preparations for the meal were well underway. Although I had seen more of these in my lifetime, I never experienced one like this. My son was gone. Our Messiah murdered. The one we waited for, dead.
Come in, Mary Magdalene. Shalom to you.
Shalom to you as well, dear Salome. Oh, Mary, I desperately wish I could take away your pain. Our pain. I'd give anything if only I could.
Dear sweet Mary, I know that, yet I treasure your concern for him.
I wanted to come by to let you know what happened to him after you left the cross.
Please do.
2 men, both of the Sanhedrin, who were followers of Jesus, although secretly, came with orders from Pilate. I was still clinging to the foot of the cross when they came. Mary, I watched them. I followed them the whole time. Nicodemus and Joseph of Ramah gently took Jesus' precious body from that awful cross and carried him to Joseph's own tomb nearby. They wrapped him gently for burial. Then they rolled a stone over the entrance, protecting him from predators. Mary, I just had to let you know. His body wasn't thrown into Hinnom like common criminals. Your Jesus, our Jesus, is safe.
Oh, dear Mary, this is such a relief.
Thank you, Mary. At least I know my son's precious body rests secure from harm.
Well, I must hurry now before the high Sabbath begins.
Thank you, Mary, for bringing such comforting news. Shalom.
Shalom to you as well.
Although Mary's sweet hug and comforting words didn't take away my pain, they did let this mother know that the body of her precious child rested in peace. For that, I was truthfully grateful. Still, our promised Savior now lay in a cold, dreary tomb, and his mother found herself in the grave of a cold, dreary life. None of this made any sense.
Oh God of our fathers, where are you?
There, my dear. Go ahead, weep. Let it out. It's all right.
This holy day was the most solemn I'd ever knew. Sadness loomed over us like a thick cloud, robbing us of the joy that Sabbath of unleavened bread had always brought before. How could I rest on this high Sabbath? Sleep eluded me as I tossed back and forth all night, longing for the break of day, yearning to awaken to the end of this nightmare. This was the most horrible night of my life, even more than losing my Joseph. Losing someone you love is never easy, but losing a child, no matter how old that child is, it's devastating. Morning broke, but brought no relief, no joy, only a cold, stark reality of yesterday's horror. I knew I was in for another restless day and another restless night. I wondered how many more I must endure. How many more could I endure?
Why is the darling of heaven lying there dead in a stone-cold tomb on earth, Gabriel?
Angelica, we cannot understand all things. Our wise God knows what he is doing.
To be honest, even as an angelic being, Gabriel, it just doesn't make any sense to me either. We certainly never expected this when he left us here. How could the majesty of heaven have let this happen? How could the light of the world be snuffed out?
Veronica, we must wait patiently and trust our God on the throne as King of heaven and earth. We will wait, friends, and trust.
It had been 3 days and 3 of the most torturous nights of my life since my son was murdered. Now, dawn began to peek through the darkness on this early morning. Start of a new week had always been filled with joy and hope, but not this time. Would it ever be again?